Well guys, believe it or not, the Agents of Sabotage DLC has been out for just about a month. This Friday will be 1 month from the DLC's launch, and in this video, like every DLC we get, I want to talk about the good, the bad, and just reflect on the DLC as a whole going forward. And the reason that I like to do these reviews a month later after the DLC launches is because we get to then see how the DLC sets into the game over time. It has some time to soak in after the honeymoon phase to see how it's going to hold up long term. So let's first talk about the robberies and the new property, or business I guess you could call it. I actually did enjoy my time with the 4 robberies. I think they're much better in structure than the last DLC with the bounty missions. The robberies play a lot like the auto shop contracts, but even then I still think they are improved auto shop contracts because of the fact that you can launch them from your phone. You don't have to go back to the property to launch them, which is so convenient, especially for speedrunning. In terms of mission design, unfortunately, I don't think we're really going to get anything game-changing or revolutionary with mission design with these gtaonline updates anymore. Most of it is always the same tasks of going to some place, killing enemies, and grabbing whatever item or vehicle that you need there, and then taking it back to the base. And the same goes for the locations. They mostly just reuse the same interior locations we've seen a million times over, but they do get a bit creative with it. For example, the Fine Art File finale, you start out in the casino upper floors area, as if you enter through the rooftop in the casino heist, and then you go down to the agency upper floors, and then down to an entrance to a garage. So it mixes 3 different building places, or building interior sections, into one. So in a way, it kind of feels new, but if you've been playing the game long enough like I have, then you kind of start to feel that fatigue, like, oh, this building is being used again. And I think that just goes to show that, yeah, they aren't putting as much development time into making a bunch of new stuff for gtaonline anymore. It's obviously all going into GTA 6 development. Another aspect about these last few DLCs, really ever since the Chop Shop DLC with those robberies, that I like though, is that when you start a finale, you don't actually go into like a separate lobby and then hit start on the mission. It just puts you into a separate instance of free mode right when you launch it. So you're still in free mode, meaning you can access all of your vehicles. Most, if not all of them, will still work just fine. It just makes the game feel way more seamless this way. And it's something that I hope they continue doing with future DLCs, or DLC depending on how many we have left now. Another plus to these FIB robberies over the salvage yard specifically is the way they handle the cooldowns. The priority file changes every week, which pays more money, and that is the only one that you can do once per week. But the other 3 just have a 5-minute cooldown, and you can grind those out back to back however you want to. It just can't be the same one that you do over and over again. You have to just alternate. That is so much better than completing all 3 robberies from the salvage yard and then being done for the entire week. I remember when the salvage yard DLC first came out and I got done with all 3 of the robberies and I was like, wait, so that's it? Now I have to just wait a week before we can play the content again? It just felt very underwhelming. But I honestly do wish there were more than 4 missions. 4 missions isn't a whole lot. The characters in this DLC I enjoy also. Of course, Pavel is just Pavel. He's entertaining and funny to listen to. But I don't mind Jody either. I think she's one of the better new characters that they've introduced. Of course, when you do these missions over and over again and you're grinding them out, the dialogue does get repetitive, but you can skip a lot of the dialogue on the prep missions anyways by just clicking both analog sticks at the same time. That usually skips the phone call dialogue. The garment factory property itself has some nice features, like the additional car storage slots, of course. The new terabyte upgrades are very nice and contribute to making it one of the best vehicles in the entire game right now. I do wish the fast travel feature was a bit better. The concept of fast traveling through the underground tunnels is very cool. I really like the concept. I just wish we had more fast travel points though, because there's only like a select few to choose from, which is kind of disappointing. Now let's move on to vehicles. Overall, the vehicles were a W in this update in my eyes. The Banshee is great. I do wish it had a double black stripe livery, but I love the fact that it has HSW on it, making it, I think, the fastest car in the game now, if not one of the fastest ones. We finally have some good modern day cop cars with the Caracara and the cop sports car even, the Coquette D10 Pursuit. We got our first Amanitech armor-plated police car with the Terminus Patrol. That's probably my favorite vehicle in the DLC in terms of using it in free mode because I already love the regular Terminus and how it handled, and the Terminus Patrol is just that much better. And we can't forget, in the drip feed, we're getting some bangers. The AC-130 gunship, which I've already played around with a ton, and it's a lot of fun. This vehicle alone makes the DLC great just because of how fun the AC-130 is to use the Titan 250D. And it's a total shock that we're even getting something like that this late into gtaonline's life cycle. I'm super excited for the second part of the update, the Oscar Guzman missions with the expanded hangar space. That's when the new Titan will officially release most likely. But that's a huge quality of life update that I've been asking for years now. So to have 20 more hangar slots that's going to be massive. You're going to be able to store so much more aircraft. I got to give credit where credit's due there. That's a good change. And speaking of quality of life updates, how about Rockstar adding the lock-on jammer upgrade to like, what was it, 50 plus cars? Including some of the recent law enforcement vehicles as well. They also brought back a ton of old cars that were previously removed. Many of the cars got the new lock-on jammer upgrade, which is probably why they're back available to purchase. Personally, I think every car in the game should have a lock-on jammer as long as it's not a weaponized vehicle, but even then, I think some weaponized vehicles should still get a lock-on jammer, like the weaponized Tampa, the Vigilante would be neat to have it on, the Charnobog. Some of them do deserve to have a lock-on jammer. But I think as time goes on, as we get more and more updates, they're probably going to keep adding lock-on jammer upgrades to a bunch of older cars. It's just a tall ask to do it all in one update when there's like, what, 300 cars in the game? Now for the weapons, we only got one, and right now it's a GTA Plus weapon only, but I'm guessing on Thursday it will be available for everyone on the next-gen consoles. The Strickler Rifle. I like that they are trying something new with the weapon visuals having a blue flashlight and blue tracer rounds. The main downside to doing this though is that you can't customize the gun at all. You can't put a silencer on it, so you can't use it for some missions. And statistically, it's only a little bit better than just the standard military rifle. So improvements that I would like to see in the future if they keep going down this road of weapon skins, let's just say. Let us customize at least some of the weapon, like the scope and the muzzle options. And in general, for tracer rounds on Mark II weapons, I would also like to see their ammo limit removed and the tracers activate on every bullet just like the Strickler Rifle does. They've proven that it's possible because the tracers on the Strickler Rifle activate every shot, but the tracer rounds on the Mark II weapons are just super underwhelming. Right now, tracer rounds are limited in the same way that the special ammo is, which is silly because tracers don't do anything but look different. The weapon doesn't perform any different with the tracer rounds, so why are you limited to a 20-round magazine with 200 rounds total? It should be the normal mag size with a max of 9,999 like regular ammo. Moving on to the clothing of the Agents of Sabotage DLC, the clothing was kind of underwhelming, I gotta say. You would think since we're working for the FIB in these missions that we would get some like cool FIB tactical agent style clothing, but unfortunately we didn't really get any of that. The most exciting part are the new police outfits coming in the drip feed, but even then, I wish they finally just gave us the bodyguard and CEO vest to purchase. They've been in the game for what, 10 years now? And they're still only used for the bodyguard and CEO outfits. Why not just turn them into standard utility vests that we can wear with the new cop outfits, for example? The NPC enemies have cooler gear than we get to have on our own characters, which is backwards because we are the main characters, not them. The one really disappointing thing about this update was that there wasn't really a whole lot of new stuff for the Christmas event. Last year we did get a lot with the snowball launcher and all that, but this year it was all just reused from past Christmas events. All we got that was new was just a few new Christmas clothing items, and that's really it. If I had to give this DLC a rating number, I think I would probably give it a 7 out of 10. For me, the Titan 250D and the increased hangar storage coming down the line really brings it up a notch in the scoreboard. And I would go as far as to say that this is the best update that we've had since Drug Wars or maybe even the Contract update. It's not anywhere near the Contract DLC in size, don't get me wrong, but as far as the current DLCs in the past couple of years, I would say that this is the best one over the Bounties, Chop Shop, Drug Wars, the Colonel Enterprises update. But let me know what you guys think of the DLC down in the comments. Would you give it a similar rating or something else? If you enjoyed the video or found it helpful, feel free to leave a like as well as subscribe to my channel for more GTA Online content. I also want to give a huge shout out to all of my channel members for your support. If you'd like to become a member for some exclusive perks, you can either use the join button or the link that's down in the description. And as always, thanks for watching and have a great day.